Welcome, 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 welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am TW Dawson, the CCO of PunkPanda. I am excited to bring you this update with our guys, Craig, Marcus, and Albert. We might have Josh coming on along with us, but what we're excited is because we are finally here to the point where everyone's been waiting for. Everyone's been waiting for this time where they can see the actual transactions go through of all the work of their labor. Come in and just jump into the chat since let us know how excited you are about this day. In the next days, next hours to come, you'll be able to transfer some PPM tokens to your personal wallets, and we are going to be excited about what's going to happen from here on out. Without further ado, and I know it's very cliche, but I like to take the time to introduce the president of PunkPanda, Mr. Marcus. Marcus, are you ready to give us this great update to introduce our speakers for tonight?
TW, thank you very much. And, today we're going to do something a little bit different. And I am genuinely excited about this because, yes, we're going to give you the most relevant corporate updates around the token withdrawals, around the PandaApp. But today we're actually going to give you some really valuable education. And, I remember when back in July last year, when Albert and I were looking at, do we bring this to the market? How do we do it? What are our requirements? And we talked about the fact that we would only do this if we could genuinely help people, if we could do it in a way where people wouldn't get hurt. And, we're at that point now. We've already seen some people's lives have been changed along the way, but we're at the point now where people can start to withdraw their tokens and they can monetize that, or they can put them to work to make even more potential profits for themselves in the future. And, we understand there's different types of people out there. There are people who are greedy. There are people who come to any situation to take more than they give. And that's okay. That's their right. That's their choice. But then there's people who are starving. There are people who are going to take these profits and they need them to pay their bills, to put food on the table, to look after their family. And that's totally okay too, because when people are starving, they have to take care of what's their immediate challenges and their immediate priorities. But today is really about the people who are hungry. And it's not just people who are physically hungry. It's people who are hungry to change their lives. It's people who are hungry for information. It's people who are hungry to change that cycle of adversity or that cycle of poverty that they may be in because of no fault of their own. So we're going to be giving you some of the most valuable things we can give you, which is not, in fact, PPM tokens. It's education, knowledge, and wisdom. Because if you take this information we're going to give you today and you apply it, it absolutely can change your future and the future of generations to come. So with that, let me push up the presentation. And again, I am just so excited to bring not just these updates, but this information to you today. So what we'll be going through is, first of all, we're going to give you an update on what's happening with the app, some exciting updates there. Then I'm going to hand over to Crypto Craig from Decryption Labs to give you some education and wealth tips around the crypto market. We're going to talk about the withdrawal process and show you exactly how to do that with the Panda app. We're going to talk about how to do withdrawals from the PunkPanda farm back office. And then we're going to close out on what the community-driven focus should be, in my opinion. So with that, the Bentley has started to roll out. I know a lot of people have been excited about the new features, and human nature says that most people come back and tell us what's not working instead of all the amazing things that are in the progress, but that's okay. So right now, version 1.5 is in the Apple iOS store, and we actually have a new APK file for those of you who are on Android, and I'll tell you how you can access that at the end of this call. So the new features are, the thing that we've been mostly focused on is any login or sign up issues that people are having on either Android or iOS, because we realize that this app is what we can weaponize to really blow this project up. We already saw it in the early phases when we did the testing of the beta app. So that's where most of the focus has been. So right now, with the new iOS that's in the Apple Store and the new APK that's coming today, in fact, you'll be able to download it at the end of this call for any of you on Android. The features are you can do video call, audio call, image sharing. You can search your contacts. You can exit a group that somebody may have added you into. You can add a group profile picture or a personal profile picture. You can see the call log history of any calls that you've made. There's a scrolling bar across the top that tells you the last time a contact of yours has been seen online. You can send an MP3 file. You can share your location. The wallet has now become live in the new APK you can download later today, where you can click on unstake, withdraw, and you can also see your withdrawal history with the PPM tokens. And finally, you can block or add a contact. So if somebody shows up and the number is not in your phone, if that's somebody that you don't want to be communicating with, you can block them. Or if it's somebody that you just haven't stored in your phone yet and you want to communicate, you can add them to your contacts list. So just to reiterate, if you're an existing user, you want to click login. If you are a new user, you want to click sign up. So we continue to fix the bug issues around the logging in and any other issues that we're seeing. But again, what you are seeing right now, even with these updates, that's not the complete app. We have around 70 additional features already programmed into different libraries that we'll add in a few at a time. And we actually want to make sure the current ones are working very well before we go ahead and put a bunch more in there. The main issue, again, is some people on iOS are getting stuck on the page that says, please wait while your data is syncing. I literally went out and bought a $2,000 phone 2 days ago just so I could test this and track that phone from our text last night. We got some good data on that. So we are vigorously investigating this and we will get that done. So we can do video calls. You can see here video call with Azim, one with Albert. When TW called me on an audio call, you can see that you get a notification banner on the top of your phone. TW, bang, here he is. No wardrobe that day. Once you're in the app, you can see people are starting to upload their profile pictures, right? But also like Robinson, he just, one of our Telegram admins, he updated the APK on his Android today. He was so excited with the new features. So he added his profile picture. But up the top here where it says last seen today, that's actually scrolling. You know, it just scrolls across last seen today and you can see the time when that person was last online. So yeah, exciting. You can see the call feature, the video call feature, and there's a whole bunch of new stuff. You can see here, this person was not in my contacts. So I had the option to add them to contacts or I could block them. When you go to the wallet, you can see your staking rewards and also Panda Pals. If you have Panda Pals, this account doesn't have any Panda Pals. But what's gone live today on this new APK is the unstake option if you want to unstake the tokens, then withdraw, and also the history of your withdrawals. And just a side note, if this was you where you've got 4 tokens in your app, not real smart to go and click unstake right now because the minimum withdrawal is 10 ppm from the app, right? So because you're getting access to 1% of your tokens this month, you'd need to have at least 100 tokens. And then of course, the 1% would be 10 ppm tokens to meet the minimum withdrawal. So just rounding out, if you're having issues logging into your app, but you want to see where things are up to, all you need to do is literally go to punkpanda.io, click on Panda Pals. You can log in and see how many tokens you've got. Some of you are going to log into your app and it's asking you to add an email. One of the bugs was when you add your email, you kind of got stuck in a loop. That's been fixed on the new upload that we'll see coming. But in the meantime, you can go and log into this website, into your Panda Pals, and you can add your email address yourself, all right, if you haven't had one in there previously. So if you've done all that, you can either wait for the new app to be ready for you to download, or you can fill in a form that we've got in the Telegram group that says I can't log in, and we'll address that. So with that, we're going to transition into some incredible education. And before we do that, let's just do a snapshot of where we're at. We listed the PPM token successfully in this crazy market, and we did it well. We listed on the 29th of July. We listed at $1.50. At that point, Bitcoin was at $2,480. $2,880. in that time, since we've listed at the end of last month, the whole market's just plummeted. Bitcoin's down around 20%. The PPM token price is down around 10%. You know, it's interesting, and I understand some people jump in the Telegram group going, hey, why is the price going down? Why is the price going down? It's kind of like saying, hey, I've got a dog. Why does it bark sometimes? That's what dogs do. And this is what tokens do, especially when they're not being artificially manipulated. You know, we could panic as a company. We could jump in and start buying up tokens to hold the price there. But that's not what real companies do. Could you imagine, you know, when the pandemic hit and you had an airline stock, the value of their shares just went down. And it's like, what's wrong with the airline? Nothing wrong with the airline. Something's happening in the world that's affecting the psychology of the shareholders, and some of them are deciding to sell. Now, would it be smart for that airline company to go and take their cash reserves and go and start piling in all of their cash reserves to buy shares just to put the price back up so the shareholders thought the company was okay? That would be stupid. That would not be responsible. And that's not how the share market works. All right. So, you know, we've held extremely strong during this time, considering what's been happening with even the granddaddy of them all, Bitcoin. So right now, as of 2 days ago, August the 28th, token holders have access to 1% of their available tokens if they want to withdraw. People who have been staking and farming on the front side of the PunkPandaFarm.com have been getting ridiculous rewards. In fact, I think some people's tokens have actually doubled in the last month. I'm not sure if the returns are going to be that good going forward, but congratulations to those of you who have got in early. We will be listing the token on CoinMarketCap. Now, we could have done that weeks ago if we wanted to. So anyone who's complaining about that, don't worry. We know how to do it. We know we can do it, but we're making sure the timing is right. And one of the main things we want is for when people see this token on CoinMarketCap is for them to be able to go over to the App Store and easily and successfully download the app without any issues, because we don't want them to have a bad first experience. Now, one thing that's going to really help the project when we do list our token on CoinMarketCap is we actually will show the actual amount of tokens in circulating supply. At the moment, what's being shown is our total supply, right? 275 million. Well, they're not in circulation, right? So when we do list on CoinMarketCap, we'll show a very small market cap, which is exciting for potential investors, because they say, you know what? If the actual market cap's say $3 million, it's easy for this project to go from 3 million to 6 million. That's doubling their actual the value of these tokens, right? So that's an exciting thing when we push that out, and it won't be too long from now. So the last thing I'll say is that you know, when we can weaponize this app, we will go supersonic, because this is something that every single person can do, and we'll go from 500,000 PandaApp users to 1 million to 2 million to 5 and 10 million extremely quickly. So we are getting super close to being able to do that. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to hand over to Crypto Craig from Decryption Labs to talk about understanding the market cycle and some valuable education for you all.
Awesome. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, mate. Just tell me if you want to keep the slides up or when you want me to just push them down.
Sure. This is great. No, hey, I appreciate the updates, guys. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Crypto Craig. Maybe you've seen me before on another call. I'm your Chief Strategy Officer, but also I own a company called Decryption Labs. And we've been contracted, you know, by the team over at PunkPanda to build a lot of the cool stuff that you see, to make the token actually a real thing, to bring it to life, to build a lot of the tools into the website, and to do all the different stuff in the future that is going to add more utility and really demand for this, for the token. And that's, you know, what we've been contracted to do. I tell you that because I want you to understand that where we're coming from and talking about market cycles, that I know a concerning amount about this stuff. And so we're very excited to have an entire educational portal coming to you. And I actually do a video specifically on the boom and bust market cycles of Bitcoin and crypto, and then the 3 bucket capital strategies for how to really create an investment plan that works for you, not just in Bitcoin, but in all crypto, maybe just investing across the board. So before I get into that, I want to share some of it with you tonight and how I think it's going to affect PunkPanda, and kind of a strategy going forward for what to do with your PPM tokens or to acquire more. But just know that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I have to say that, you know, just a little disclaimer. I'm just a guy who knows a very, very concerning amount about cryptocurrency. And, we're here to share a lot of that with you. So first off, just want to start by saying when I found out about Bitcoin, it was 2015, and I was really big into finance. I loved it, but I didn't like the system. I watched in 2008 or 9 when the housing market in the United States collapsed, and I watched the bailout where they just got all the big banks and companies together, printed $800 billion, and somehow everything was like, okay, they put a massive Band-Aid on it. And I hated that. I knew I didn't like the way that the system worked fully. I was still intrigued by it, but I hated that because it really just seemed like for my parents, who were very like hardworking people, that, well, they've been saving money for a long time for their retirement. And all of a sudden they just added all this supply into the market. There's no more demand for money, but there is way more into the supply, which is a bad thing. So I knew that fiat currency, or that the dollar in our case, was inherently inflationary. What does that mean? It's just a fancy word that means as supply goes up, which they do, and there's no increase in demand, then the price or the buying power literally has to go down. And so I knew that, but there was never a way to opt out of the old legacy financial system and get into a new one. You could go to different currencies. People try to do it with gold as a storage of value, but they were still all tied to this old system in one way or another until Bitcoin came around on January 3rd, 2009, right after the housing crisis. And there was now a way to get out, which is amazing. So for that, I was very, very intrigued by the fact that I could now get into a new system. Now, along that way, that was when Bitcoin was about $300. I've watched it go to $72,000 and, going all the way back down to 3,400 and going through these cycles. And it's really, really been a wild ride. It happens, to all tokens in this market, but it's important to understand a few things. One is that the market cycle and the way Bitcoin works is on a schedule that is the opposite of fiat, or the opposite of the dollar. So it is inherently deflationary, meaning that there are less tokens that are put into the system. So there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin that are ever created. So if you didn't know that, that's awesome. There's a finite supply. Never in our entire lives have we had a chart of an asset that is completely finite. Even gold is scarce, but they still find more every day. Bitcoin, only 900 Bitcoin are put into the market every single day. Now, in 2 years, that'll get cut in half. 4 years after that, it'll go cut in half until eventually all 21 million are released. But over time, that number goes down, and it's what is called a deflationary currency. So what does that mean? It means that it encourages saving. So in the United States with the dollar, it doesn't encourage saving. The money that my parents have saved in their savings account is worth way less than it was 2 years ago because we printed so much money. In Bitcoin, because they're making less of it, it encourages saving some of that activity. And so I love that because it really is the only way to get into this new financial system. Now we have fiat and digital. And so it spawned this entire new industry. And what I've seen people do for a long number of time with all the tokens is they do the exact opposite of what you should do. 95% of traders and investors typically lose money in financial markets. Why is that? Because it's a fear of not knowing what to do, and because they follow the news, they listen to their friends, and they do all the wrong things that you should do. So, when the price goes up, they buy. If you look at the most people that ever got into crypto, it was actually Thanksgiving 2017 when Coinbase was the #1 downloaded app in the world for 3 days, and everyone bought at 20,000. The next time came around, everyone bought at 60,000. And then when they panic, when it goes down, and they sell below that. You want to do the exact opposite. So you have to kind of train yourself to be a contrarian. It's not, immune to all market forces. And I think my parents are like a pretty good example. Right now, they're on their third house as a couple. They timed buying low and selling high or not at all really, really well, and have been able to have like a decent life because of that, and done pretty well. So that's how I'm starting to buy and acquire for the long term, because I believe in that business. I believe what they have behind them and what's happening. Same thing I did with Uber. It opened at 45 bucks. I didn't touch it until 22 because I wanted to wait until the price comes down, things subside, because what goes up must come down. But over time, things are steadily going up. 4 years ago, basically today, Bitcoin topped out and peaked at about $20,000 a coin, which people were losing their minds at the time. They were absolutely losing it. Like, it went from 5,000 to 20,000 in 2 weeks. Everyone in the world was trying to buy it, freaking out. It was all over the news, and they were buying when they shouldn't have bought. Now, 4 years later, people are panicking because the bottom is at 20,000. So think about that. Over time, it's steadily going up and up and up and up and up. And so while you can't tell exactly what's going to happen in the future, every cycle, that Bitcoin has, which is about 4 years, which ties into how often they cut the halving the reward system for it as they release all these 21 million coins. About every 4 years, this cycle kind of happens. It has happened over the last 12 years. Well, we're about 1.5 years from really picking up and going to that next massive bull run, but you don't want to wait until the bull run happens to try to get in and scramble in. As things are going down sideways and it's cooling off, that's when you want to have a plan to start piling in to grow your portfolio. And in this case, with PPM, if you believe in the utility that we have, if you believe in the amount of users that they have with an app that was almost not even functional for a while, which they've done great work to make it happen, this is the best marketing tool in the world that they have. Wait till they can push notifications through the app where all the users can go and buy PPM token right from their phone. That's going to be nuts. And so now is the time to put together a plan to start building to kind of just really be able to grow a basket of top cryptocurrencies to grow your portfolio and to have some long-term wealth. Just like my parents did, it was buy low and sell high or not at all. And so if you look at this Bitcoin cycle here, this is kind of what I was talking about, that every 4 years. So again, when Bitcoin got started, there was a halving 4 years later. It just means that every day, half the amount of Bitcoins that were getting released is happening again. I actually believe it to be one of the most powerful moments in time. And, I like, as far as like an economic shift that happens in the market, it's pretty big. To have an entire currency literally get cut in half for the supply all the way up over time is a really, really big economic event. And so as you can see over time, the market will typically bottom out a little before a halving and then continue up on what is this next bull run. Every time it decreases just a little bit as far as the percentage growth, but Bitcoin is, spawned an asset class, is the greatest performing asset class in the history of time by percentage. And we're really just getting started. So what used to be for me just growing Bitcoin is now growing a basket of top cryptocurrencies that I believe in. And I have my long-term, mid-term, and short-term stuff. But the long-term stuff, if I can stake that and I can grow that for just holding it, and I'm rewarded just for holding these to allow companies to grow and go build their balance sheets and to go build cool products in a time right now where people are not as interested as they should be, that's amazing. And that's where I believe the opportunity that you guys have here today. At the end of the day, it's about supply and demand. Supply and demand basically says that if supply doesn't change or goes down and demand increases, the price literally has to go up. So here, PunkPanda and PPM token is structured the same way. There is a finite amount of tokens. It is disinflationary, built just like Bitcoin for that reason. Now, if you believe that over time, as all the projects and stuff that we're building, and as the app rolls out and they work out some of these bugs, that demand is going to increase and there's a limited supply, it pretty much tells you what the price has to do as utility goes up over time. So if you have a long-term time horizon, you believe in the project, you believe in crypto, which I certainly do, and I believe most of you do here, that's why you're on this call, put together a plan for taking your rewards, staking them, and allowing this to compound and grow over time. And wait till we do some of these big multiples and the market turns around, if you don't need the money immediately, to go out and to go grow a portfolio of something that you can be proud in. And one of the best things I love about PPM on top of that is it's not just an investment. It's an actual way to earn crypto. Very few people, a lot of people buy or trade or invest. Very few people work or earn crypto for doing some activities, and you can do that here. So we're going to go talk a little bit about what affects token prices. And so it's basically people buying and selling. So when you see all these crazy charts, right, the green candles and the red candles, all that is a visual representation of people buying and selling tokens. That's it. So you can go right on PunkPandaFarm.com and see the price. I think a lot of people don't know that. We'll have the coin market cap listing coming soon as well. And if you guys are on the PunkPanda team, you want to see this thing grow. We're going to make it really easy to share with other people. We're going to have all different kinds of stuff in the apps and all the utility that you can need to be able to share this out, and things that are really easy to simple to share on social media. Now, are people pretty excited about crypto right now? No, they're not excited about anything. People are freaking out even in the traditional markets. I had a funeral to go to this morning, unfortunately, and one of my mentors, who's a long-term stockbroker and financial planner, was not able to attend this morning. And I said, "Where's Doug?" to his wife. She said, "He's talking people off the fence because of how bad the stock market was on Friday. He's talking to 35-year-old clients that are picking up the phone and panicking." And so when most people get nervous, that says to me, okay, great. We need to put together a plan now to start building, start acquiring, start looking at great projects and building cool stuff, because that's what time it is. Because just like things always do, they will inevitably turn around, and you want to put yourself in the right position. So I'll kick it back over to Marcus for a little bit if you want to take some of this, and we'll show you guys some of the swap features. But if you ever have a question, please reach out, let us know. But know that the education is coming very soon for all this stuff. We take you step by step how to do all this, how to put together a strategy that works for you. And you can learn from some of the lessons and stuff that we have over time for myself and some big Wall Street guys. So I don't know if you're still there, Marcus.
I think Marcus,
I know he got cut off for a second.
Yeah, I think he might have got cut off, so I'm not sure he's back on. It looks like he's
all right, no worries. All right, Marcus, if you do jump back on here, but no, anyways, so there's a couple different ways to buy PPM. The easiest way is to go to punkpandafarm.com, which is just right on our main page. Scroll down, and from right there, you can buy, stake, and swap, and all the different stuff and the tools that you need to be able to do with PPM token. What's really cool is that we have 2 educational videos right there that show you how to do it. So if you're not sure how to buy or swap or connect your wallet, or some of this sounds foreign to you, there's a video that will take you step by step and show you how to do that. And then if you're not sure how to actually stake it, which means, again, just taking your tokens, locking them up so that the company can continue to grow and you'll be rewarded for doing so, you can do that as well. Right there on the site, there's a video to show you how to do that so you can benefit and capture some of these rewards. And Marcus said people are already doubled their token holdings in the last month since we've listed. It's pretty incredible, and it's very awesome for what's coming in the future. One of the things that we'll discuss here in the near future that I'll just kind of hint at, we're going to have some staking programs that we're working on that will allow you to lock up your PPM tokens for a period of time and be rewarded differently for doing so. Right now, the company has done such a great job because that really is how it typically works. Even with crypto.com, you got to lock it up for 6 months. You got to lock it up for a year. But here, you can lock up whatever you want for as long as you want. Right now, if you wanted to stake it and then change your mind tomorrow, you can do that. Now, why would you do that getting these rewards? I don't know, but you could. There's no limitation on that. And I love that the company gives you that ability and that freedom to be able to do what you want with your funds. But we're going to have additional options that will be very, very beneficial that we've seen in case studies do very, very well in the market to you soon. So we're going to kick it over back to some of the stuff that's happening in the marketing front. And Marcus, I think you're back on if you want to jump in and take that there. We'll go.
Yes, I am. Thanks very much for jumping in and tap dancing a little bit there, Craig. Well, unfortunately, I've had my Wi-Fi dropped out twice on my home Wi-Fi. It just never does it. And for some reason, so now I'm tethered to my iPhone. So I'm hoping that we're strong and stable. Now, one of the questions we get, especially in the Telegram group, is some people jump in and say, what's going on? What's happening with the marketing? I don't see anything happening. And my first response is, again, timing is so important. We can go out and, everybody come in and eat food. But if the food's not ready, it's probably not the right timing to do that. So, of course, getting this app and the login issues sorted out is super important to us. And I got to tell you that we do have more than one major deals that we are ready to roll out as soon as the timing's right. But on top of that, I just want to point out that when we started this project, we decided before we ever launched that this would be a community-driven project. Now, this is not just words. Out of the total supply of 275 million tokens that will ever exist for this entire project, we pre-allocated 210 million of those tokens to be given to you, to be given to the community who use the app, share the app, and actually get involved in the project. So I would have to say that's a pretty significant marketing budget, wouldn't you think? 210 million tokens we already pre-allocated to give to the community to help us to grow. So like anything, when people complain, they say, what are you doing? There's normally one finger pointing at what are you doing and 4 pointing back at yourself. So that's my question is, what are you doing? How are you contributing to marketing this project? When people jump into the Telegram group and they're thinking about investing in this project, do they see you saying good things about the project? Or do they see you complaining? What's going on with the token price? Why is it going down? Why can't I log in? What's going on? Why aren't you doing marketing? That's not a real great way to be contributing to your project. Now, I've got a picture of this apple in the basket on the right-hand side here. What's that for? Well, as a community, as a company, if we add an apple into the basket, that's adding value, it's adding marketing, it's adding, resources. That's fantastic. But there's one of us, there's 500,000 of you. If every time we add one apple to the basket, 500,000 people come and take an apple out, how does the basket look? How does the value look? How does the token look? How does the telegram look? So just important to understand that you are a part of this project. And again, I started this Zoom talking about we're going to have greedy people, we're going to have hungry people, and we're going to have people who are starving. You know what? If you're greedy, you're always going to take an apple out of the basket. That's just how you're wired. That's up to you. If you're starving, great. We're grateful. We can provide an apple for you to take out of the basket. But if you're hungry for your life to change, this is where we're saying to you, work with us. Work with us to add apples into the basket, right? Because that's where it all becomes a situation where the entire community wins. We're rewarding you for using the app, sharing the app. We're rewarding you for staking the token and taking them off the circulating supply, right? And holding those tokens. So yes, we use it, share it, own it, but I'm going to encourage you to use it, share it, stake it, all right? Because that's really what we can do. On the marketing side, we said that we're going to do a crypto roundtable. We held off and delayed that because the app is still having some onboarding issues. So as soon as we've got the date for the next crypto roundtable where we will be featured, we'll let you know as soon as that happens. Now, just to ram the point home here, because I know sometimes we need to hear things in different ways. And I say, listen, let me give you an example. Let's say I gave you a shovel, right? And I say, listen, it's yours. All right, you can do what you want with it. You can sell it. You can chuck it in the bin. But hey, it's pretty cool. It's worth about $10. Now, I know some people are going to go, I don't need a shovel. I'm going to sell it and I'm going to get my $10. Fantastic. That's up to you. If you're starving, you need that $10, go for it. But I'm going to give you a piece of knowledge and a piece of wisdom before you make your decision. Now, the person, average person, of course, is going to go sell it because they don't have knowledge and they don't have wisdom. Now, if I come along and I gave you a piece of knowledge and I said, well, what if I told you that this value is most likely, this shovel is most likely to go up in value over time because it's plated in gold. It's not just an ordinary shovel, it's plated in gold. Well, if you'd sold it before you knew that, you could say, hey, why didn't you tell me? I didn't know, bad decision. But now you have this knowledge that this shovel is plated in gold, and that's what the PPM token is. We believe in time, this is going to go up in value, like gold most likely will go up in value, like Craig's been talking about. So that encourages you to hang on to that asset. It's not just a thing, it's an asset. An asset has the ability to go up over time. Most times people spend money on things. They go buy a TV, they buy a car, they buy some shoes, they buy a new phone. They're things. None of those things go up in value over time. They actually go down in value the minute you buy them. Now, I've given you some knowledge. Now, let me give you some wisdom. What if you took this asset and not just decided to hold it, but you put it to work for you? What if I told you there's a guy down the road who he's starving and he needs to dig a ditch? That's what he does for a living. He needs to dig ditches to put some money on the table. So what if I told you you could hire this shovel out to the guy who's starving and you could actually get some profit back for him hiring the shovel from you? And when he brings it back, let's say 3 months' time, what if he gives you $3 a month for hiring out the shovel? Well, in 3 months from now, you've now got an extra $10. And if you're smart and you're wise, you go, well, why don't I buy another one of these shovels? Now I've got 2 shovels. You can hire those 2 shovels out for $3 a day. So in another 3 months, you don't just have 2 shovels, you've now got 4 shovels. And you hire those 4 shovels out to people who need to dig ditches for a living. And those 4 shovels become 8 shovels. So not only do you have the value of each shovel going up over time, but you've got 2 and 4 and 8. This is a principle that's called compounding. Compounding has been called the 8th wonder of the world. And for years and years and years, the banks have understood this and they've used it against you. They've used it against us. They loan us their money and they charge us interest, which is compounding every single day. So this is an opportunity to change your financial future. This is an opportunity to use compounding to help yourself, right? And this is a really simple way to do it. And that is to stake your tokens, to lock them up, take them off circulating supply so you're not just holding them, but you're earning PPM rewards so you're getting more shovels. This is a chance. And let me ask you a question. Are you working for money or is your money working for you? Because if you're the person out there with a shovel when you're digging ditches, you're working for money. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an honorable thing to do. You have to pay the bills, but you're working for the money. The only way to make more money is to do more work more hours, give away more years of your life. If you're the person who's hiring the shovel out, your money is working for you, right? It doesn't matter whether you're sleeping, spending time with your family, or holidaying, your money works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Your money is working for you. And this is the opportunity I want to give you, is to be wise. You now have an asset that you can put to work. So why not just hold it, but stake it so that it's working for you? This is the point that changed my life back a few years ago. And this is really what's going to change the future of many people here with PunkPanda. Now, getting to that point, we're at the point where people can withdraw their tokens if they want to from the PandaApp. So if you go into right now, if you go into punkpanda.io through the website and you click on Panda Powers, you can log in and you can add your withdrawal wallet address, and you can do it through the website. As soon as this next APK, which I'm going to give you at the end of this call, is available, you'll also be able to do it on Android through your app. And when the iOS update hits into the Apple Store, you'll be able to do it through there. But in the meantime, you can do it through the website if you want to withdraw. The first thing you need to do is add a wallet address. All right, so you click on Add Wallet Address, stick it in here, and then it says Whitelist Crypto Wallet Address. It's going to send a one-time PIN to your email. You enter the one-time PIN and you approve that wallet as your withdrawal address. All right, so that way nobody else can go and stick their wallet address, take your tokens, because it's sending an email to your email address. That's the only person who can whitelist. Once you've done that, it's going to say your new smart chain. It has to be a smart chain. BNB wallet address has been successfully added. All right, done. Now, once you've done that, if you want to withdraw, guess what? You click withdraw, and it's going to tell you from the app the minimum allowed withdrawal is 10 ppm. That means if you don't have at least 100 ppm tokens in your app, don't bother unstaking. All you're going to do is miss rewards for 2 days, and you can't withdraw less than 10 tokens anyway. All right. Next thing is, in this example, let's say there's 134,000 tokens in this person's app. If they choose to unstake, bang, they click unstake. It says you can unstake 1% of your staked tokens, and it's going to give you a total. So in this case, 1,300 tokens are going to become available. Then they're going to have to click this unstake button. Bang. All right. Click unstake, and it's going to tell them, warning, if you unstake, you will not get ppm rewards for the next 48 hours. I've already seen personally in the last 24 hours, because of the people who have chosen to unstake, the amount of rewards I'm getting has increased because there's less tokens that are staked. That means every 30 minutes, new tokens coming in are getting shared with less people. All right. So unless you are starving and you need to sell those tokens for something, it's not probably smart to unstake the tokens right now. But again, they're yours. You do what you want. But please know you're going to miss rewards for the next 48 hours, which is 96 deliveries of ppm tokens. Once you do that in the Panda app, if you're logged in through the website, you're going to see, okay, your total earned tokens, in this case, 134,000. In the wallet balance, 132,000, and 1,300 have moved to the locked balance. They're going to sit there for 48 hours, and then they will move in 48 hours time over to the available, when you can then choose to do a withdraw. So you click on withdraw available wallet. It's going to tell you how many available to withdraw. You can type in how many you want to withdraw, and bang, go for it. Again, if you're doing this from the Panda Farm back office, we've moved from the app to the back office. The minimum withdrawal in the app is 10. Minimum in the back office is 25. I saw somebody complaining in the Telegram group, why is it 25? You know what? It used to be 35. So we've actually reduced it down to 25 in the back office. So anyway, you put that in, click withdraw, and then we manually review them and be released within the next 24 to 48 hours. We do that to make sure no one's put a stupid wallet address in and they're going to lose them. We also do it to make sure that if in some rare case, if our server got hacked, nobody can just withdraw your tokens. We make sure they're going to you and to a correct wallet address. So once you do that, you'll see your staked tokens. In this case, once you've unstaked in the back office, going to tell you you've unstaked successfully. 1%, one token in this case, goes into the locked wallet. So rounding out, what would I do if I were you right now? Well, again, it's up to you, but I would start introducing my entire contact list to the PunkPanda app, so you can start to build the amount of tokens you're earning from the Panda app. I would encourage my Panda pals, my team, to do the same thing. And I would let your PPM tokens earn you more PPM tokens by staking them. So what does that mean? Leave them in the app if you don't need to withdraw them. Leave them in the Panda Farm back office if you don't need to withdraw them, because both of those places, you are getting rewards every 30 minutes off the smart contract. Or if you purchase tokens, you can stake them on the front of the farm. That's another thing I would think about doing if you're in a position to do so. You know, why not go and buy some cheap tokens from punkpandafarm.com for those people who don't understand the value of these tokens? They're looking at a shovel going, $10, let me sell it. Well, they've just sold their asset. You can go in and scoop up a whole bunch of tokens for like $1.30, $1.40 right now, and then see them grow and multiply by staking them on the front of the farm. The last thing I'll say is don't be a 3-year-old. Now, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm going to tell you a story before we close out. There's actually a study they did. You can go and YouTube this, or Google it. It's really interesting. They did a study on 3-year-olds. And this study they actually took a group of 3-year-olds and they sat them in a room and they put a marshmallow on the table in front of them. And they said, listen, this is yours. Here's your marshmallow. Listen, I'm just going to go out of the room for 10 minutes or so. And while I'm out, you can eat it if you want to, right? But if you wait, when I come back, if that marshmallow is still there, I'm going to give you another marshmallow. So you'll now have 2. Now, they looked at these kids. They had like a one-way glass they could look through. And most of the kids like look at it and they're staring at it. They touch it with their tongue. They pick it up. And most of the kids end up, pop it in the gob and they eat it. Fair enough, it was theirs. They had a treat, they enjoyed it. But what they found was that there was a small percentage of these children at 3 years old who had the ability to change their focus and to distract themselves. So instead of just staring at the marshmallow, they kind of looked around, they sang a song, they drew a picture around the marshmallow, and when the person came back in, the marshmallow was still there, they gave them a second marshmallow. So they'd effectively doubled their reward. Now, what's really interesting about this story is that they actually followed these 3-year-olds through their entire life. They followed them through school, they followed them through university, those who went, they followed them through their careers when they got married until they're in their 60s and retirement age. What they found was the 3-year-olds who had the ability to wait and the ability to change their focus, they become in the top percentile, the top few percent of the most successful people in that entire study. And that marshmallow test they did at 3 years old was more accurate than any psychological test that's ever been done on 3-year-olds at the likelihood of someone becoming successful. So what I'm telling you right now is you have some marshmallows in your possession. And you may not be wired. You might be the person who's naturally wired to pop the marshmallow in your gob. That was nice. Oh, well, now I'm broke again. Now I have to go back to work and dig ditches. Now I'm stuck in a rut because I've been digging these ditches my whole life. So in knowing this, you can choose to make different decisions. All right. So now's the time to not use it, share it, eat it. It's time to use it, share it, stake it, right? Because what we focus on expands. If you've ever been on an airplane, the experience of that's generally not great. You're all cramped up, you're eating like a praying mantis, and you can decide to be upset if you want to because of where you are, what's in front of you right now, what's not working, what's not perfect. Or you can be sitting on this airplane and you be focused on where am I going? What is the future? What am I going to do when I get there? Because if you focus on what you want, that's going to expand, and the things you don't like and the things you don't want are going to shrink, because that is one of the laws of the universe, is what we focus on will expand. If you focus on what you want, what you like, what feels good, that's going to expand, and the rest of the stuff's going to fall away. So right with that, I'm going to let you guys know that the APK is now ready for download for people on Android. You go to punkpanda.io and click on this one here, download APK. There's some cool new features in there, and it'll soon appear once Google pulls its finger out and releases it. You'll also see it on Google Play. And I think in the next 48 hours, we'll also see another update in the iPhone store. So with that, I want to say thank you. I want to hand back to TW to wrap up the call. And Craig, thanks so much for sharing with that incredible wisdom and knowledge today.
Wow. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Craig. All I can say is knowledge and wisdom. Marcus, this is why you are where you are right now, because of the information that you just gave us. This is why we appreciate you, sir. The wisdom that you gave us, along with the knowledge that Craig gave us, this is what this project is really about. Ladies, gentlemen, Punk Panda family, listen. If you have to, we understand. But if you have the option not to, think about helping this project grow to a level that only we can help it grow to. This is our job to do this. The company has done what it was supposed to do. We've done what we promised. We're still working on some things. However, there is a responsibility to every member, every community member, to help this project grow. Use this app, share this app, stake these tokens. If you do not have to sell, do not sell. Again, we can't tell you what to do. We understand whatever decision you make. But if you want to see this project move the way that we all anticipated to move, we're going to need your help. And the first thing is to educate yourself. Go back, watch the video, listen to what Craig talked about. Go study the markets. Listen to the stories that Marcus just gave you, and understand that there's a difference between having an asset and making money. We're putting everyone in the position to have assets that will have the upside, the equity of the growth of this company. With that comes a responsibility on your part to educate yourself and understand how to use that asset for your financial future. Ladies, gentlemen, we thank you. We will unmute everyone just a second. Here we go. And let everyone say good night. You guys can unmute yourselves and just say good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you guys.
so much, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Panda rocks.
Thank you.
See you all on Telegram.
Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Go Panda.
Thanks, everybody.
PunkPanda from Trinidad.
Marcus.
Good night, Carlo.
Great
Goodbye.
call.
Good night. Good
Goodbye.
night.
Everybody.
Good morning from
Bye,
London.
Craig.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Peter.
Good morning from the Philippines.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Marcus.